Great. So we are rugged groups. I'm Sarah Scott. I'm Amber.
I'm Michael Cornelius.
And I'm Trevor.
And we are building better homes from the top down. So the problem.
I'll start off. The problem is that most current roofs today, like that you find, let's say about 90% are made from asphalt. And the thing about those asphalt roofs is they last about 10 to 20 years, 15 to 20 years. Another huge problem with that is that the insulation that covers these asphalt roofs is, you can see the average cost to heat it is about $2,476. That's gained from data that Michigan State has and like Michigan homes. So the asphalt roofs don't contain the heat as well. It escapes through the roof. The insulation is not good with them, so it actually increases the amount of money that you spend on your heating. And the weather that you live in, so if you're in a very wet climate, the water damage that you're going to experience with your roof will deteriorate your roof and maybe even have it last less than 15 to 20 years. Also, there's another thing called heat shock, and that's when if you live in a climate like California, so if you can experience temperatures of about 100 degrees during the day and then 40 degrees during the night, that'll deteriorate the asphalt and pretty much destroy your roof. Another big problem is that all asphalt is made from a combination of petroleum products. Obviously, we know those aren't recyclable. They waste fossil fuels, and the production of asphalt itself is toxic. I can think off the top of my head, mainly a couple of things that I found were like cancer, respiratory problems from the production plants for people in that immediate area. The spills, obviously, many chemicals in the atmosphere, and the urban heat island effect. That's when, obviously, when you have like asphalt laid down, obviously, in cities you'll see a lot of asphalt and black buildings. So the black objects absorb heat and then radiate that heat back out and you could see increased temperatures to about 10 degrees from when you're cooling down because the heat is contained within the city. So other like rural city areas and residential homes might not see it, but if you have a lot of asphalt roofs in some huge metropolitan areas like Detroit, about 9 million people living there, could really contribute to the urban heat island effect. The solution for this is metal roofs. Metal roofs reflect about 50 to 60% of the sunlight that they receive, and it can be increased from lighter colors like white. And non-reflective roofs also help, but on the counter side, non-reflective roofs help keep it warm. So if you want to keep your house warm during the winter, you'd have a black roof. If you want to keep it cool during the summer, you'd have a white roof. The natural metals from the roof do not produce the pollutants in their production, and they have a longer shelf life. I'd say the average metal roof lasts about 30 years, and they solve the urban island effect. If you don't have a lot of black asphalt roofs, you're not producing and absorbing a lot of temperature and keeping it within a environment.
So our product, Rugged Roofs, is a combination between a product and a service. And so we designed a roof that is it's made out of aluminum, and it's two-sided. So one side is a light or reflective color, while the other side is a dark color. So somebody, a home builder, would purchase this roof, or anybody who's replacing their roof, and depending on what month is coming up or what temperature range determines which side of the roof is facing up. So, for example, in summer months, you would have the reflective roof up, which would help to bounce sunlight back out into the atmosphere and keep your house cooler. And in winter months, our company would come in and flip over the roof to the darker side, and so the sun would be absorbed by the dark color and help heat your house. The benefit to the consumer is, like stated previously, metal roofs last longer, and they're a little bit more durable. They can also withstand the heat shock, so metal can expand and contract with extreme temperature fluctuations. During the summer months, the reflective roof will help keep sunlight off and thereby reduce the amount of money that you have to spend on air conditioning. In the winter months, same thing. It will absorb sunlight rather because the dark side will be facing up, and that will help save costs on heating. So this benefits the environment by combating the urban island effect. So as stated, a large issue right now is with cities, and there's a lot of blacktop, which will absorb a lot of heat, raising the overall temperature of that area, contributing to warming of that area, which contributes to climate change. It also mimics the role of snow and ice in the Arctic by reflecting off more sunlight So a major issue currently is with increased pollution, the snow is actually getting darker, and so it's not reflecting as much sunlight back into the atmosphere, also melting more snow, cooling, or contributing to loss of ice and also absorbing more sunlight. This would benefit the community because it will create jobs. People will have to come in, and our company will hire individuals to come in and flip the job, and flip the roofs. It bolsters the economy by creating a service job and promoting cash flow, and it brings like-minded people together over green technologies and movements, and helps bolster that community feeling.
Oh, okay, sorry, that was a picture. So we also have this awesome water collection system that would go on your roof. It would be in place of the gutters. So all your rainfall that would fall down into your gutters is essentially what would be happening still, except our gutter system would go down into the ground and have like this giant reservoir tank. And you could access that at any time, because you don't really want to pay like for drinking water to water your lawn or like wash off your cars or power wash your house. Like I don't want to pay to water my lawn at all. And this would just be like water that you collected that you can access at any time. So it would save you on water bills that go on.
Yep, and there's a picture of the system.
So who should consider rugged roofs? So it's a viable option to all new homeowners looking to increase like the longevity of their roof if they're going to be there for a long period of time. Obviously a metal roof is going to last longer, or to have that during a new home inspection to be able to say, hey, we have this metal roof here that's guaranteed for another however many years. It's a great benefit to have for homeowners. So it's good for all climates, benefits homes in hot and cold climates, and it's good with the extremes as well. So many regions of the country that have those extremes would benefit from this. And there's little to no effort from the homeowner because we provide the service and the upkeep of these roofs. So in terms of advertising, we're looking at social media. Everyone uses social media, obviously, and it's a cheaper way. It's a pretty relatively cheap way to advertise. Also, professional sporting events. We're hoping to start our company in the Denver metro area, actually, because it sees those extremes in hot and cold, also with extreme weather conditions. So like local billboards as well. And it's also important to develop long-standing relationships with local builders to help get us and our name out there into the market. So advertising, starting off, so we're rugged roofs, so we want to go with something like built like a Bronco. Granted, it is at times risky to go with a sporting team depending on how they're doing, but the Denver Broncos are an up-and-coming team. As you can see, they were 13-3 last season behind the strong leadership of Peyton Manning. And even in times of struggle, most teams have dedicated fan bases, so even the Lions. Other forms of advertising around, just other slogans, Ruggedest Rockies and Colorado Strong.
All right, and for the budget, it's kind of brief and it includes a lot of things. So like for the roof, that would include materials, transportation, getting the workers to there. The labor is also included. We're assuming we're going to use about three workers per roof. So if we're doing about 2 roofs, that would be about that right there. So there's the amount for that and the amount for that. The plumber to associate with dealing with the pipes in the system for the gutter thing was also included in that. We need a startup building to keep the service in and to distribute them to and from. That's included on there. And then the ads is just a general statement on basically the billboards in for like Bronco Stadium, putting them around Denver, putting new ads like on Facebook, which is a really cheap process, putting something on like maybe a local local commercial and stuff like that. So the total money we're going to request is about $2 million at the startup. We're assuming that we're going to make about 50 roofs in that year and being able to flip them so we don't overwork ourselves, selling them at about $25,000 per roof, and we could probably pay you back in 2 years if the profit is $2 million and $500,000.
Okay, so in summary, rugged roofs not only benefits you as a consumer, but it also benefits the environment and your local community. It helps save you money as the consumer, and it eliminates water bills for outside activities. One additional note for the water collection system It also is a great reservoir for fire prevention, so in case your house catches on fire and you don't have a fire hydrant handy, so like I know I live out in the country and there's no water anywhere, so I would have to stand around watching my house burn until the fire company came out. So you have this pool of water on hand at all times. It's an eco-friendly way to live and it helps the environment a lot, so, and that is our product.
Good job. One question?
Yeah.
All right, so shiny metal, that's a good idea, but it's like super conductive, so it still like absorb a lot of heat. Like just think of like seatbelt buckles in the car.
Which roof are you talking about? Because there's two sides of the roof.
Are you talking about like the light side?
Even on the light side, like just.
So it's still like
protection.
opaque, it's not like super shiny. It's
But
just,
it
like,
reflects heat instead of absorbing it. The reason why
That's-
seatbelt's so hot is because it's black and it's absorbing all heat.
Right, and say like southern climates or something like that, you see, well, say in the desert, mostly it's tile, but if you go down to like Caribbean or something like that, you're gonna have like aluminum roofing or in the Keys and such.
But it is as shiny as your buckle.
Yeah, but the thing about metal is it's still allowing like all of that heat to come through.
Right, but it's white.
So-
The white's cooler than black still.
Yeah,
It's
even
still
while it's
reflective.
like reflecting the light or the sunlight, it's still like taking in the radiation heat, is what I'm saying.
Sure, but like every roof does, this is better option though.
Okay, so we need to cut it off there so we can get to the last group.